Hi there, this is Travis Arnold, and I'm going to be teaching you today how you might set up your Logos Bible software in order to be proficient and in order to follow along in our videos. I'm basically going to show you how I set it up so that you can easily follow along in using it. When you first open it, you probably see something like this. It's what Logos calls the home page, sort of like a website. It's got advertisements, different videos, different little studies that you could click on and just kind of see how you could arrange different studies on a person or on a word. Feel free to do that. It'll change your whole screen layout, and it's okay to just explore and look at that. But I'm going to leave the home page here, and if you click the home icon over on the left, then it will toggle to what I call the workspace. I don't know if Logos has a word for it, but that's what I call it. Right now, it's empty. Now, it's been a long time since I've set up Logos originally, so I don't know if this will look empty when you first open it. But if it isn't, then just close everything out and make it empty. So homepage, workspace. What we want to do is open things up. So Logos is essentially a big collection of books and resources. So you want to lay them out in the workspace here. So this little icon over here that looks like a stack of books with one leaning over on it, which bothers me, by the way, because book spines should not be treated so poorly. You click on this, and this is your library. Now, I have a lot of books here in my library, probably a few more than you do. Unless you have a really high library in Logos. So don't be put off by that. So this might look different, but the concept is the same. This is where you can just start typing things and opening books. So for instance, my favorite Bible to use, because it's very literal, is the NASB. And I like this blue one here. And so what you can do is just click on it. Yours might look differently in your library. If, for instance, you have a different layout or setup, which I think you can view cover mode or different ways like that. But anyway, click on it, and it's going to open it up somewhere. Now, Logos doesn't know, and how could it, that I want my Bibles to be on this side. So if you click and drag any resource, it will occupy the shaded area that it recommends. So I've opened one Bible here. I want to teach you how to open up a few Bibles, though. So let's go back to the library and open up another Bible. Let's type in the ESV. That is another Bible I like. It's not quite as stringently literal as the NASB, but it's on that side of the spectrum. So I just open it. I could click it, and it would put it wherever it wants to go. It wants to occupy that empty space. So I click it, and I move it over here. I can either nestle it up there, or I can make it shade the same area. Let's look at another way to open up a book from your library. And in this way, we can explore new ways to use the library. If you click the little hamburger icon within the library, not the one up here, which is actually for the NASB, but the one within the library, you'll be able to open up this menu to the side, and it's going to offer different filters for you to use. And so it tells me all the different types of books I have. I can click more and see even more types of books. So right away, I might want to look at my Bibles. Again, I might have more books that are labeled the type Bible than you. But in fact, I might want to go I want to go language. A lot of these are Greek and Aramaic manuscripts. I want to look up English. So here are all my English Bibles, so I could peruse through my books this way instead of typing. So another book I want you to open, however you get there, whether it's by the filter type Bible or whether it's just typing NIV, I want you to pull up the NIV. I can also type within this filter, and I want this one here. And I can click on it again and have it open up wherever I want, or I can just click on it and hold it down and drag this to where I want to place it. There we are, my NIV. And that's kind of a middle of the road between explanatory and literal. And then another Bible I want us to look up is the Message. Okay, so that is pretty paraphrased if you're familiar with the Message. So if you notice, I'm opening up a spectrum of Bibles here. Goodness, message. All right, and then I'm going to put it here. So I've got super literal, pretty literal, middle of the road, paraphrased. And now I've got a spectrum of Bibles opened up, which is nice. Whenever I'm studying anything, I'd like to see what the Message says in Matthew versus another one over here. Now let me show you something. Right now, if I'm in my NASB here and I type in John 1, and I want to see what it says in the ESV, I have to type the reference in again. But here's a trick you can do, not just with Bibles, but with any book of the same type. Over in the 3-dot menu, which is a menu for this resource. So the hamburger menu for any resource over here will be sort of its table of contents, and the 3-dot menu will be actual options. And you can do, under that menu, link set A. You could have chose any letter, but I'm choosing link set A. And I'm going to assign all of my Bibles to link set A here. That way, whenever I'm studying a passage, if I go to, for instance, Genesis 2:1 in my NASB, all my others are going to follow it. So they're always going to go with one another. So that's a great handy thing to do. There's going to be another set of resources that we're going to open up over here. I'll start right now with just one, and we'll add more as we go. But I like to have my Bibles over here and basically all my other resources over here. So why don't you go to your library here? And once again, I want to show you a number of books. Now, if you've set up any, like we have in my demonstration, any filters, these are going to stay there. And whatever you type from that point on will only be within those filters. So you could be frustrated trying to find some book and not realize, oh, it's not seeing it because I've got these filters on. So I'm going to click all again just to reset things. And remember, I've got my menu opened here if I want to view this. And I want to show you a different type of book that I want you to see what you have here. This is going to be the type called encyclopedia. There's some resources you have called Bible dictionaries, some of them are called, and some of them are called Bible encyclopedias, and they're the same thing. They're all actually encyclopedias. They're not really dictionaries. So go to the type called encyclopedia and just click it. Now this tells me I have 39 encyclopedias. Some of them are Bible encyclopedias, some of them are encyclopedias of history or different things like that. And then once you have that open, you're going to have probably a subject field now, a subject filter. And I just want my Bible encyclopedias. So these are books we have found here, and I have more than you likely, but you'll have a couple there called Type Encyclopedia or Subject Bible. Okay, and you have a number of these here. One that you'll find useful would be the International Standard Bible Encyclopedia. I think you probably have. You might have Easton's Bible Dictionary if Logos has given that to you in an update, and I think you have Lexham Bible Dictionary. But the best one is going to be the New Bible Dictionary. It's this good balance between it strikes a good balance of how much information it gives you and the quality of information. You might have a different edition, I'm not sure, but the New Bible Dictionary. So why don't you click it, and I'm gonna put those resources over here. And I usually have a few open, but for now it's good to just have one open, if not just to fill that space for now, because that's going to annoy you. All right, before we finish, let me go through a few more things about your library. So back in our library here, I want you to explore as many of these books as you can that you own. And the best way to do that is just to treat it like it's a library catalog. Whether you're old enough to remember the card catalogs with different drawers for subject or author, or whether you're just used to Googling things and looking things up through some database, this should be familiar to you. So again, just to the hamburger menu in the library gives you the different types. Explore the different types of books you have. You have commentaries, books that go to great lengths to comment on every passage and word of the Bible. You have different types of books. Like you can explore your Bibles, like we looked at earlier. Click more for lots more types of books. Lexicons, those would be dictionaries for Greek and Hebrew words and such. And you can also explore subjects, Bible, theology, sermons, all sorts of things. And so you just explore on your own. I tend not to use these because I tend to know the books I like the most. And anytime you type anything, like if you type Bible dictionary, it's going to search every field. The author, I doubt there's an author named Bible Dictionary, but the subject and the title and the type, so just typing, it will search through all that data, and it won't be as targeted as of results, but you can find things easily enough by just typing the sort of thing you're after, whether it's the title or the author or the subject or the type of book or whatever. But before you start typing to look for things, you kind of have to know what you have. And so explore your library through these filters. Always remember to click all again, though, once you're done, because then whatever you're typing will only be within those filters. Another thing that's very important is to use this really powerful feature called prioritize resources. If you click on this on the right side in this 3-dot menu, you can click on prioritize resources here. And if you do, you might have a book in here already. I'm not quite sure. But whatever you click on from the library over here and drag over here, you're telling Logos that that's the book you want to prefer when you're looking up different things. So if I tell it that my favorite Bible is the NASB, it might have asked you for this in your setup. I can't remember how that works. But if you have already set your preferred Bible, all that happened is that Logos did this for you. I type my NASB in, and I click it over here, and I drag it over there. And because this is my only Bible in my prioritized books, Logos knows that I must like that one a lot. Now, my videos might use the NASB or the ESV. Choose whatever Bible you're going to read the most. But if you're studying, you really should gravitate more toward this end of the spectrum, really literal. Maybe the NIV is kind of like the perfect middle road. I wouldn't study from something like the NLT or the Message. They're great Bibles, but I wouldn't study from them. But anyway, if I have other Bibles up there, I might tell Logos, I like the ESV too. It's a darn good Bible. So I put it there, but because Logos knows that I put the NASB at the top of that list, now whenever I do anything that requires a Bible, Logos is going to prefer to open it in the NASB. So if I'm in this Bible dictionary article, this encyclopedic sort of resource, and I click on a reference, Revelation 1:3, it's going to open in my NASB. Or if I hover over it, it's going to pop up with the NASB pop-up. However, if I had done this differently, if in my library I had prioritized the ESV, I'm going to, just by making it the topmost Bible there, I could have 100 Bibles in here, and whatever one's on top, it's going to open that one if it's available. Now, if I hover over this text, this link, it's going to pop up with the ESV, and if I click on it, it's going to open in the ESV. And so prioritize resource is going to help you get to where you actually want to go, rather than always having to open exactly what you want. Another series of books that I really want you to prioritize, and you'll see why this is so important later, is just type into your library DBL. And that stands for Dictionary of Biblical Languages. The DBL is a lexicon, actually, which is a dictionary for a foreign language. In this case, it's the languages that the Bible was written in, Greek, Hebrew, and Aramaic. And I want you to prioritize these. And the way you do that is the same as before. You click and drag over here. And you'll notice that this one is in bold. And it says that it's transferred 3 volumes. It can tell that these are a part of a set, and so it just dragged them over. If you wanted to not drag all of them over, you'd have to right-click or control-click and just prioritize the particular book rather than the series. Anyway, if you prioritize that, it doesn't need to be higher or lower than anything else, because it'll be the only lexicon, that kind of book, in your library, unless you prioritize other ones too. And that way, when you're looking up definitions in Greek or Hebrew, which we'll show you how to do later, the Logos will know that this is the resource you want to pull from. Just a demonstration, if you're in your Bible, and most of your Bibles have the Hebrew and Greek in the background, and we'll show you how to access that in a lot more detail than here. But if I just want to know what the word throne is, I can double-click that. And it will pull up, it just opened up this resource, the DBL. And the reason it did that is because I just prioritized it. You might have a couple other lexicon resources in your library, and it might have pulled it up in that instead, unless you prioritized it. And I want you to, and later on in the assignments, it'll be necessary that you give us definitions from this resource. We'll go a lot more into that later. I'll close that for now. Back to our library. So I click on the library tab, and I'm in my prioritized resources. And the other thing I want you to pull up is this New Bible Dictionary that we already have open over here. I want to prioritize that one. You could just type in the abbreviation NBD. If that doesn't work for some reason, try finding it through the filters or some other way, and click and drag that over too. And that way, when you are looking up some concept or some topic in Logos, it's gonna prefer this resource as the dictionary or encyclopedia that it uses. So, for instance, if you were back at your home screen and you wanted to just try out one of these study guides on a person or on a word, in the section of that guide, I won't open it now. You can play around with that later. It would prefer the New Bible Dictionary in terms of what resource it suggests for information on that. And it will show you other ones too. It'll just put that at the top. Same with some of these reports down at the bottom. There's we'll go into searches later. We'll go into fact book and things like that, guides. And these are different guides. Feel free to play around with them. You're not going to break anything in Logos. And I'll show you later how to get it back to where you had it before in case you do find yourself making Logos look so confusing and you want to just get back to simplicity. We'll show you that at the end of the video. But in these guides, and even if you were to come up here and click on the Logos icon and type in a passage or a topic, it would pull up guides, and those guides would pull from lexicons and Bible dictionaries. And if you told it which ones you preferred, then it's gonna use those ones first. So I've shown you how now to prioritize certain resources. You can go in here and prioritize other Bibles, other Bible dictionaries, other lexicons, whatever you want. But just make sure that among your lexicons, this DBL, Dictionary Biblical Languages set, is the highest one on that list. So two more things. What I want to show you now is with this little icon here. This is called Layouts. It looks like different windows on your screen there. If you click on this, what you'll see is different layouts that you have saved, which you probably don't have yet, and the current layout that you're on right now. And if you like the way it's set up, and I would recommend saving this at the moment as your base layout here, and you can save it and update it later as our layout gets more complex, and it will as we go on. But you can name it whatever you want. Your name, say my preferred layout. You can call it Mickey Mouse. I don't care what you call it. But that way, no matter what happens to your Logos screen, let's say you open up some layout to study something, and you didn't know that you were launching this total revision of how your screen looked just to study something, or you want to get back to the way it was before, you just go down here and just say prefer this layout. My actual layout is a lot more complex than this, with multiple windows and everything, but I'm on my video tutorial layout right now. And another thing I want to show you is similar. If you go to your settings by going to this 3-dot menu down here at the bottom left-hand corner, and go to Program Settings, toward the top of this window, it'll say at startup open to, and you can say, make sure it's selected as most recent layout local, meaning the one that's actually on your computer right now. Or you could say most recent layout any, meaning the most recent layout from whatever device you've accessed it from. Okay, so that way, when you close Logos and open it up again, then it's not going to be a blank screen. It's going to be opened exactly to where you left it. Not only with the resources where they are, but with the particular books in exactly the same place. Now, I want to show you one other thing. And some of you do not have computers with hard drives, although it's technically a requirement. Or maybe you don't have access to your computer. If you go to logos.com and sign in at logos.com, and then go to app.logos.com, that's where I was just now, this is going to bring up the web app for Logos, which is exactly the same, almost exactly the same as what you see in your software if you have the computer software. And you'll need to log in, make sure you're logged in down here if you weren't already, so that you're not just accessing the few free books they give you to anyone who goes to the website, but you're accessing your library, your layouts, your everything. And you can do almost everything the same way as I've been showing you in the video tutorials. There will be some differences as we go. For instance, I'll show you later how to access Greek and Hebrew word definitions, but for instance, you can't double click in this web app. You'll have to get it some other way. And there are a few little things that are different. As we go through the tutorials, for a number of you who will be accessing it this way, I will show you how to do things on the web app if they are slightly different from how it looks in the software. But most of the time, there's no difference at all. There are a couple things you just can't do on the web app, and we'll have to find unique ways to get to it. And you really should have the software on a computer with a hard drive. But this is the next best thing. So app.logos.com, make sure you're logged in, and everything works pretty well the same. Well, we've covered a lot of ground in this about 20-minute video now, something like that. We've shown you how to open up resources from your library, how to peruse your library, how to find out what books you have, how to prioritize your resources, how to arrange your books, how to link your books together if they're the same type of book, how to open up a Bible dictionary, and how to handle your layouts and get everything just the way you want it to be. You, of course, can deviate from how I've set it up, but as we go, mine will look somewhat like this as we teach you different tasks. All right, looking forward to see you in future videos.